What's going on, miners? Chump Change XD here. So today's video, we're going to do a step-by-step walkthrough on how to set up a Cumulus Flux node. I'm going to be using a Dell OptiPlex mini PC. This is something that I know works very well because my man Rondi actually has one already up and running at his place, and he sent this over for me to try. This thing runs about 5 to 6 watts. I will leave everything in my Amazon affiliate store down in the pinned comment and in the description below if you guys are interested. But I'm going to do a full walkthrough so you guys can follow along with me at home if you guys are interested. This should go for pretty much any PC you guys want to run a node off of. You just need to have some certain requirements that I'll explain in the video. So if you guys are into that, let's do it. All right, so first step, you're going to come over here and go to the Ubuntu server website. You're going to come over here and click on number 2 or option 2 rather. You're going to scroll down and we're going to download the 20.04 LTS. I believe this is the correct one. It's going to say thank you. Bottom of your screen, the download should pop up. So that'll take a few minutes to get downloaded. While you're waiting for that, come over here and go to balena.io. This is BalenaEtcher. So this is how you get like Hive OS or any type of OS installation onto a USB or an M.2 SSD or just a regular SSD hard drive. So now once you have BalenaEtcher installed, you're going to need a USB that you can completely wipe out or write over. And in my case, I have a SanDisk. So I am going to come over here. We're going to choose Flash from File, the Ubuntu 20.04 that we just downloaded. I'm going to click that, hit open. Then we're going to select target. You can see here is my SanDisk USB. I'm going to be writing over it. This is a 32 gig disk. Going to click select, and then we are going to choose flash. It's going to ask you for some permissions because again, it's going to completely wipe out and overwrite anything that is on this. So just be mindful of that. But while we're waiting for this to do its thing, let's get into the Dell OptiPlex, and I'll explain a few of the items involved in this PC. All right, so beginning our Flux node, we have a Dell OptiPlex. This is a mini little PC that my man Rondi sent over. He actually bought a few of these completely bare bones on eBay. I will try to leave a link to all this stuff down in the Amazon affiliate store in the pinned comment below. Then we have a 256 ADATA M.2. Then we have the i3-6100T. This was a purchase off of eBay that I actually did once he sent this over. This is a low wattage CPU. Then we have some DDR4 SODIMM RAM. This is for this as well. And then we have a blank USB to put the Ubuntu Linux software on there so we can flash the M.2 once we install it in here. So this is what you'll see when the flash is complete. Now let's get into the BIOS of the Dell OptiPlex and we will adjust a few settings. All right, so here we are inside the BIOS of the Dell OptiPlex, and obviously prior to starting this up, I took out that USB we just flashed and I stuck it into the USB port on this machine. So let's go to first thing, the power management. Okay, all BIOSes are going to be slightly different, but you want to try to find the AC recovery section where it says power off. We want to change this to power on. Just in case you guys get some sort of power outage, it will start itself back up as soon as this thing comes back to life. Now we're going to hit apply. That's right behind the camera. You guys can't really see it, but just hit apply and okay. All right, so next you're going to come over here and go to boot sequence right here, or it might say boot options depending on how the BIOS is set up. I'm going to click on the SanDisk that we just flashed, and I'm going to up arrow it to the top. So that way it's in the first boot order slot, and it should start up off of the USB. Now let's go down here. We're going to go to apply. We're going to hit OK, and then I'm going to exit. All right, so the machine booted up with the USB. Now we're going to pick a language. So in this case, we're choosing English. Please select your keyboard layout below. I'm just going to hit enter. So we have the Ethernet cable plugged in. So I'm assuming that if it wasn't plugged in, it would ask for a Wi-Fi and password. But in this case, we're hardwired. So that's how it's going to be. I'm going to hit enter. Then right here, it says if you need to use HTTP proxy to access the outside world, enter the proxy information here. Otherwise, leave it blank. I'm just going to hit enter. I'm just going to hit enter again. All right, so here we're going to use an entire disk, and it shows the ADATA right there. Then right here, set up this disk as a LVM group. I'm going to take that X off. So I think I just hit enter. Now I'm going to hit the arrow down. I think there's supposed to be a done somewhere on the screen, but I don't see anything. So I'm just going to hit enter with it not on anything. Conveniently enough, there is the done box that we didn't see this whole time until right now. So let's hit that. I don't think we have to change anything here. I'm just going to click enter. Then we're going to arrow down and click continue. All right, so right here, you're going to put your name, whatever you want to put your name as. I'm going to put chump change. So then for the server name, they don't allow capitals apparently, because it says the only characters permitted in this field are A through Z and 0 through 9. It's just lowercase. So I'm going to put flux_1 just in case I decide to add more. I can just add the next number. Again, this field doesn't allow capitals, so I'm just going to put lowercase chump change XD. Then you have to choose a secure password. Now, once you have that all filled out, again, I don't see the done box, so I'm just going to hit enter. I'm going to leave this alone, just hit enter. All right, so then right here, you're going to click enter when you see it blinking. And I don't see the done box, obviously, so we're just going to arrow down until this goes away. So that's it. 2 arrow downs and enter. Now we have to go all the way to the bottom. Obviously, the done's not there, so it should be on it now. Enter. All right, so what it's doing right now is technically the install is complete, but it still needs to update. So I'm just going to wait until it's done because it's going to have to be done anyways at a later date. So let's just hang out for a few and see what happens. All right, so I think this is done. The only thing that really stinks is, again, I can't see anything on the bottom of the screen for whatever reason. It makes no sense. My screen's not cropped or anything, but it should say view log and reboot now. So I'm hoping if I hit the down arrow twice and enter, it will land on reboot. So I'm just going to do it. 1, 2, enter. Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what we're supposed to see. So that worked. If you guys have this issue, just try to follow along with what I did. If you don't see the arrow, you're most likely on done, but you don't want to go down too many times because it can throw you back. So now, as you can see, it says, please remove the installation medium, then press enter. So that means the USB. I need to unplug this guy right here. So there we go. Just unplugged and enter. See what happens. All right, so now if you guys have ever seen Hive OS start up, it basically starts up the same thing with a bunch of stuff, and then it's saying okay next to everything. And then it comes to this login. So you can see Flux1, that's what I named the node. I'm gonna type in chump change XD and hit enter. Then it's gonna ask for the password. If you're in any way familiar with Linux, when you type in the password, it's probably not going to show on the screen. So I'm gonna type it right now. Once you hit enter, then it'll log you in. All right, so you're going to have to remember the IPv4 address, which is the IP address you're going to have to type in a browser at a later date in one of the next steps. So mine is 192.168.1.209. So yours will be different. Just remember it. And then right here, we're going to type in a command that will allow us to remote manage our node with a graphical interface. I'm not too familiar with Linux, but this is the command you need to type in. It is sudo apt install cockpit. So right here, kind of weird for me, I don't see the spot that I'm supposed to hit yes on, or it asks you a question and it says yes or no. I'm gonna hit Y right now and enter again. For whatever reason, it's like off the screen and I can't fix it. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna swap back to our main computer and we're just gonna leave this on sitting like it is for now. All right, so back on the main computer, sorry for blinding you with the complete white screen, but this is where we type in up here on the browser. You want to put that IP address I told you to remember. Then you're going to put a :9090 and hit enter. It will pop up to this. Your connection is not private. You're going to choose advanced and come down to proceed to unsafe. But obviously that's your IP address. And now it'll bring you to a web interface where you can remotely manage this node that you just created. So here's the username. Now you're going to type in what your username was. Mine's chump change XD. Then you're going to type in your password and hit enter. So as you guys can see, this is the web interface. You can literally manage everything: the health, the usage, system information, the configuration. If you go to the dashboard, you can monitor your CPU, the memory, the network, the disk IO, all on one pane, basically. This is the log section. You can search by categories and stuff all up here. So I'm gonna let you guys go through this. To be honest, I haven't really had a chance to actually dive into it yet myself. So I'll be looking more into this at a later date and do a little updates for you guys. But next thing is port forwarding. we actually don't really need to do it anymore because they did an update on their end for the nodes, allowing us to run more than one at our location. So you shouldn't have to do any type of port forwarding, but you do need to make sure UPnP is actually enabled in your router. So when you get into it, personally, I have a FiOS router. You can see universal plug and play. It's UPnP enabled, checked off. Save it, apply changes, whatever. It should be on by default, so you shouldn't even have to do this step. So last but not least, we're going to come over here to Zelcore. This is where you actually structure the node through. So you're going to have to download Zelcore wallet. I'm going to click try now. It's going to bring you down to the download, so you can choose whatever you're using. Now, once you get it downloaded, it's going to pop up actually pretty quick, which is surprising. So what you're going to do is either log into your account if you already have one, or you're going to have to create an account by saying register one on this device. All right, so here you can see we're in my brand new Zelcore wallet. So this wallet I'm not familiar with at all, but it is super easy to set up. You just make a username, password, and I highly recommend you guys do the two-factor authentication. It's their version anyways. It's like a little PIN number you have to put in when you log in and when you do a transaction. So it's kind of neat. But looking over here on the left-hand side, you can see they have 6 different categories. We're looking at payments, income, mining, investments, retirement, and scholarships. So that's kind of neat. But right now we're in the payment section. I don't really have any Flux, but this is what they send you, I guess, when you first sign up. 0.000621. Nothing at all, but it's something, I guess. We're going to come over here and go to mining. So this is where I'm going to set up my node through. I think it makes the most sense. So let's go to manage assets. I'm going to show you guys how to see the Flux wallet. You're going to go to add asset and then choose Flux. So once you choose Flux, you can exit out of this and then click right here where it says show zero balance. Click down and there it is. All right, so as you can see inside the wallet here, it's a little intimidating to look at, but it's just really a lot of stuff. They just have news in the corner, some website stuff, information, whatever. But anyways, so on the left hand side again, you have info, receive, send, exchange, contacts, and more. All right, so real quick, here are the Flux node structures. I just wanted to show you guys the collateral that you will need to be able to create a node before we go too far. The Cumulus is 1,000 Flux. The Nimbus is 12,500 and the Stratus is 40,000 Flux. Now you guys can see there's all different types of requirements. I will leave a link to this page down in the description below, as well as everything else that we talk about in this video, just so you guys can reference anything you need. All right, so now I need to send myself some Flux. So let's go over here and go to my receiving address. We're going to click this to copy it, and I am going to send some Flux from my Trust wallet over here to Zelcore so we get this node up and running. All right, so I just sent myself some Flux. Now you can see right here, April 25th, I literally just sent it. It went through super fast. So we're going to come over here again, just go to receive. I'm going to click it to copy it, and then we're going to go to send. So what we need to do is send ourselves 1,000 Flux. So I'm going to right click in this space, and it literally pastes your receiving address right in there. Then we need to type in 1,000 right here. Right at the time of recording, it's $1,345. Now I'm going to come down here and go to fast. That's just because I want it done, obviously, for the sake of recording. That fee will come off the top over the 1,000 as far as I know. So now what we will do is click send and yes. All right, so now just to make sure that we actually sent this to the proper location, let's go to more. And we're going to come down here and go to Flux nodes. Once you click on that, it should open up and we should see the Flux node right here, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, there it is. So it says Cumulus offline, and I have one confirmation. So as far as I know, for this Flux node or any Flux node in general, you need to have a minimum of 100 confirmations for it to actually take place and start working on your node. So we're going to give this some time, let it do its thing, and then we will get to the next step as soon as we have it. And we're back. All right, 128 confirmations. As you guys can see, it's been about 3 hours at this point. I just haven't had time to get back down here. So now let's check right here. If you click on edit, this is some information that we're going to need in the next following steps. The identity key, the collateral tax ID, and then I don't even know if we need the address, but these two things we're going to have to remember. So keep that in mind. Now back here, looking at the Ubuntu web interface, we're going to go all the way down here to terminal. And right here, we're going to type in a command. It is going to be sudo space apt install npm space dash Y. And then we're going to hit enter. Then you're going to have to type in your password again, enter, and it's going to do its thing. All right, so right here, the video decided to cut out on me. So once it was done downloading, we typed in the word clear and hit enter. Now that will bring you back to this line right here. What you're going to do is paste in a multi-tool that I will leave down in the description below. And I know YouTube's a little funny when it comes to special characters, so I'll leave it right here on the screen for you guys to see as well. We're just going to right click, copy, and then paste it right here. And you probably have to hit enter, and then it will bring you to this screen. All right, so first thing we have to do is install the Docker. So we're going to hit 1 and then enter. So right here, we have to type in sudo and then su. And then right after sudo su, we pasted that command line back in and hit enter again to bring us back to this page. So again, right here, we're going to hit 1 and then enter. Then here, you're going to have to type in your username. So mine is chump change, as you can see right up in the top left corner. So now we're going to hit enter and it's going to install the Docker. Now it's going to say, would you like to switch to user account? Hit yes. And then we're going to type clear, enter, and we're going to paste that tool back in there and hit enter. Now we're going to install the Flux node. So we got to hit number 2 and enter. All right, so then this is going to pop up. As you can see, it says enter your Flux node identity key generated by your Zelcore. So now we come back to our Zelcore. We're going to click edit. So right here, the identity key, we're going to click on it and it will copy to your clipboard. Then right here again, we're going to right click and paste it. We are going to allow it to be pasted, arrow down, and enter on OK. Now it's going to ask you for your Flux node collateral tax ID. So again, we're going to left click on collateral tax ID. It's going to copy to the clipboard, go back to this section. We're going to right click and paste, and then arrow down and enter. Right here, it says enter your Flux node collateral, and to look right here, output index, it should be 0 for most of you, but it could be 1. So in this case, mine's 0. We're going to type in 0, arrow down and enter, and then it's going to configure. All right, so right here, you're going to have to put in your Zel ID. If you go to your Zelcore wallet and you click right here, it will give you the Zel ID. Just copy it and paste it in there and hit enter. All right, so right here, it's going to ask you the method you want to get bootstrap files. So we're just going to leave 1 highlighted and click enter. We're going to get it directly from the script. So we're going to let it do its thing. It's going to take a few minutes. All right, so it did the main installation. Now it's installing a bunch of little things. And right now it's saying, please be patient. This will take about 5 minutes for it to sync. All right, so I'm just going to cut in right here and say this is like the 3rd time I had to actually reinitiate this install. So when you go back to the main page, I'll show you guys in a second. There's a 3 to check like the problems. And then I did 2 again to install the Flux node. If you look right here where it says Flux benchmarks and it tells you Cumulus and all that stuff, I was getting an error here for whatever reason, and I think it's because I skipped the port forwarding, but to be honest, I'm not really sure. So either way, I went into my FiOS router and I actually did, as you can see right here, port forward 16126, which is in my Cumulus node on Zelcore. That's what it says. And then I put it to 16127 inside the terminal right here where we were. When you have that multi-toolbox, number 14 at the bottom is for UPnP installation, and it only allows number 127. So I assume 126 and then 127, right? So that's what I did, added that. And then the video I watched, this kid did a Flux high port. He did 30,000 and 39,999. So I did that as well. And then after I reinstalled the Flux node for like the 3rd time, these UPnP ports right here popped up all by themselves. I did not do this. I don't know what triggered it, but just so you guys know, you can try to reinstall this node a few times and get it working. So now mine's currently working. As you can see, it says Cumulus 4 cores, 7.70 RAM, SSD 238, and HDD 0. Go down and it's just, all the information. And what I need to do is highlight my IP address. We need to copy it, go to the Zelcore wallet, go to the IP section and paste it right in there. You can name it whatever you want. So right here, we're going to type clear and it's going to bring you back to this. Then what you need to do is enable the GUI so you guys can actually still access this to be able to control your node. So we're going to type in sudo ufw allow 9090 and you're going to hit enter. I've already enabled this, so what it's going to do is literally nothing. It just says existing rule, but you guys will see it allow that to be able to be accessed. So you guys should be able to use it again. Now, after this, I think we're pretty much done. I'm just going to clear this for the hell of it. And I think I'm going to start the node. Now, as you can see right here, we have 176 confirmations. So we can now choose start. You're about to start the Flux node. Flux Cumulus 1 CCXD is what I named it. Before you press start, we suggest you confirm the Flux node is running well and that it is passing benchmarks. Otherwise, the node might enter DOS status. So you need to make sure it's running properly, and then you can click start Flux node. What'd you guys think? Hopefully you learned something today. And I know videos like this are kind of intimidating, especially when you're branching out to something totally new that you're not used to. This video actually took a lot longer for me to put together than I would like to admit, but you know what? I did it for you guys and also for myself. We're going to have to figure out ways to make additional passive income instead of mining. Obviously, when Ethereum merge comes, it's going to be very difficult and totally new to everybody in the space. So we're going to have to figure things out. This is definitely one of the best moves, in my opinion, that you guys could possibly do to make your money work for you. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Not financial advice, but just my opinion. If you guys did appreciate this video, please go down here, hit this like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't seen this video or this video, please go check them out. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.